this Learn English with the News lesson, we'll review a news article on the verdict of the legal battle between Elon Musk and OpenAI. As we read the article, you'll learn advanced words, phrases, grammar, and pronunciation. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Our headline: Musk loses case against OpenAI, but vows to appeal. First, let's review case. In this context, case represents a legal battle. Now, just like in sports or games, you can win or you can lose. So that's why they use this. Musk loses case, legal dispute, against. Now, equally in sports or games, you play against someone. So this legal dispute was Elon Musk against OpenAI, of course, the company that founded ChatGPT. That's why we're using the preposition against. OpenAI, but vows to appeal. Ooh. So first of all, to appeal, this is a legal terminology. This means Musk will start another case, another legal dispute, to say that the original verdict, the fact that he lost, should not be. So that's to appeal, to say that the decision is incorrect and to have another judge or jury review that decision. And to vow, this is a strong word. It's to strongly promise, and it's often to strongly publicly promise. Publicly in the sense of when you get married, you have your wedding vows where you publicly promise to be in a relationship with that person. Now here, notice the sentence structure. You vow to do something. So you want the infinitive. Make sure you only use this when it deserves a strong promise. Maybe if your employer is about to fire you because you always come late, you might say, I vow to never come late again. So this might be a time where you make a very strong promise. Don't worry about taking these notes. I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now let's keep reading. Elon Musk waited too long to sue OpenAI and its leaders. So if you sue someone, essentially you file a case. You file a lawsuit. So you start a formal legal process to sue OpenAI and its leaders. A jury in Oakland, California decided on Monday. So if a jury decided, there's a technical term, a legal term used for the decision of a jury. I probably already used this word, the verdict. So the verdict is the legal word for the decision by the jury or by the judge. So a jury in Oakland, California decided on Monday. A lawsuit he filed. So remember I said you file a case, you file a lawsuit. So file is simply the collocation, the verb that pairs with the noun. So file in this sense of officially start or submit official documents to start the process. And a lawsuit, this is the same as a case, a legal dispute. A lawsuit he filed was barred by the statute of limitations. So the statute of limitations, this is a legal policy that says that certain cases will not be considered depending on time. And barred by means disallowed, prohibited, because the amount of time did not follow the policy. The jury found, this is what the jury decided. The jury found after about 90 minutes of deliberation. Deliberation can be used in a non-legal context as well. So deliberation is when the jury reviews the information it received from both parties That's the terminology we use in a legal context. The parties are Elon Musk and the legal team representing Elon Musk, OpenAI, and the legal team representing OpenAI. So they review all the information, they discuss it. That would be deliberation. So a formal process of review and decision. Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Their verdict was advisory. So their meaning the jury's verdict. And remember, I already explained verdict. This is the final decision of a jury or of a judge. Their verdict was advisory. So advisory, this word comes from advice or the verb form advise. Advice is the noun form. Advise is the verb form. So advisory means that the jury was only giving their advice. So that's the noun form, which means it wasn't an official, legally binding decision. Their verdict was advisory, but Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers said she agrees with the jury. So the judge's decision, the judge's verdict is she agrees. And the judge, remember, the jury's decision was the lawsuit he filed was barred, prohibited by the statute of limitations. So the legal time limit to start a case. And the judge agreed. Let's keep reading. Musk helped co-found and fund OpenAI. So co-found means he was one of the founding people. So he was one of the people who started the company. But because it's co, it means it was with others. It could be with one other person or many other people. That's unclear based on the definition of co, but it wasn't on his own. Musk helped co-found and fund. So notice this is the verb form to fund. If you fund something, you might fund your savings account or fund your vacation account, retirement account. It means you put money in or you give money. And fund OpenAI, so this is the verb, fund. Fund OpenAI, giving $38 million. Just remember, million does not take the plural form. It's dollars. $38 million in its early years. So in its meaning the company OpenAI. So when it first started, in its early years. He sued CEO Sam Altman. So he being Elon Musk sued, so started a legal dispute against CEO Sam Altman, company president Greg Brockman, and OpenAI. So OpenAI, this represents the entire company, but he didn't just sue the company, he sued the individuals who represent the company. In February 2024. So this is when the legal dispute that we now have the verdict to in 2026, this is when the legal dispute started in February 2024, alleging that they stole a charity. So these words are in quotations because Elon Musk said these three words specifically. They stole a charity. Now, because they isn't in the quote, it's possible he said CEO Sam Altman or OpenAI, the company, stole a charity. So it means he could have used other words to represent they, but these three words directly came out of his mouth, stole a charity. Now, but important is the word allege. allege. This is a legal terminology, but it can be used in the context of providing blame to someone or saying that someone is to blame. Alleging. So this means that someone says it's true, but it hasn't been proven as true. So in a company, you might say, my coworker alleged that I stole money from the company. My coworker alleged. So my coworker said this, but it hasn't been proven as true. Alleging that they stole a charity and unjustly enriched themselves when they shifted to a structure that includes a for-profit arm. So for-profit is the opposite of non-profit. Non-profit, you can think of charity. The organization operates, but the goal is not to earn a profit. That's why this use of charity is in this quote, stole a charity. When they shifted to a structure that includes a for-profit arm. An arm in terms of an organization, you can think of it as a branch. Another terminology is branch, just simply an area, a division, a department. So one arm of the company is for R&D, research and development. Another arm is for marketing. So those could be different areas. So they shifted to a structure that includes, which sounds like in the early years, this for-profit arm area did not exist. And that's part of the legal dispute, part of the reason why Elon Musk sued the founders and the company as a whole. And unjustly enrich themselves. This isn't a very common terminology, enriched oneself in the sense of have more profit, have more financial gain for yourself. So that's what it means in this context. And unjustly means that it shouldn't have been done. Because Elon Musk, he runs a company that provides himself with a lot of financial benefit. But so adding unjustly means that the company, OpenAI, and the individuals should not have received the financial contribution or benefit that they did. I just learned that unjustly enrich oneself is a legal term. My explanation of it was spot on, was accurate. However, remember, before I explained it, I said this isn't the most common phrasing. Because in my experience, the verb to enrich means to provide a positive benefit. It isn't usually related to finances. Now, there are legal terminology that lay people represents people who are not in that industry. I am a lay person because I am not a lawyer, but I know common terminology like sue, dispute, file, verdict from TV, from books, or from just everyday life. This is not one I had heard before, but enrich as a regular verb that you can use in your daily life, assuming you're not a lawyer, means provide a positive benefit. So you might say reading enriches your life. Or maybe you think about all the ways that learning a foreign language has enriched your life, has provided positive benefit to your life. So this is how you can use enrich in an everyday context. Let's keep reading. I was a fool. So again, quotation marks, we know that these words came out of the mouth of Elon Musk. I was a fool, Musk told the court earlier this month. So the court represents all the people in the room. So the judge, the jury, the lawyers, the court reporter, all of that represents the court. Musk told the court earlier this month. I gave them free funding to create a startup. So them being either the company, OpenAI as a whole, or the individuals who run the company. I'm not sure. I gave them free funding to create a startup. Okay, free funding. Notice here, fund was a verb, to fund. So Musk funded OpenAI. The verb means to provide money. And in parentheses, I said provide funding because funding is a noun. And in the context of organizations, companies, they often use the word funding instead of the word money. I was a fool, Musk told the court earlier this month. I gave them free funding. I gave them money to create a startup. Musk's case threatened to derail the ChatGPT maker. The ChatGPT maker, who's this? OpenAI. The article is simply using a different way to avoid the repetition of always saying OpenAI. It's also a journalism way of providing more information about the company without having to give this as a separate paragraph or separate sentence, which takes up more room. Musk's case, so case representing legal dispute, threatened to derail the ChatGPT maker. So if you derail someone, it means that everything's going to plan. You're working, you have a plan, everything's great, but then something happens. It could be your computer breaks down, someone sues you, COVID, and then your plan is derailed or you're derailed. So it means that your plan has problems, difficulties, or it doesn't go as planned. Threaten means that it may happen, but it may not happen. So this suggests that there's a possibility that everything could still go as planned. Musk's case threatened to derail the ChatGPT maker, who is OpenAI, to derail OpenAI as it plans, it being the company, OpenAI, as it plans what could be a blockbuster IPO. So now this is not a legal term. Do you know what this is? This is a finance term or an investment term, a stock market term. Initial public, what's the O? I have two words in my head. I have to think of which one's the right one, and you think of it too. The O is offering, which was one of the words I was thinking. Initial public offering. So this is when a private company like OpenAI or Tesla, to think of Elon Musk's company, when a private company first sells shares to the public on a stock market. So this right now, you can buy Tesla stock. You cannot buy OpenAI stock because they haven't had an IPO, which means it is not available to you or me, the public, on a stock market, whatever that stock market is. There are different ones. So that's why it's a stock market, because it's any stock market. Now, a blockbuster IPO, well, just imagine if OpenAI is available on the stock market, people are going to buy it. Is going to be extremely successful. That's what blockbuster represents. It's an adjective. It describes the IPO. Let's keep reading. OpenAI's attorneys, this is another word for lawyers. OpenAI's attorneys argued the company's mission hasn't changed, that it's still run by a nonprofit foundation board. Because remember, Elon Musk is the one who filed the lawsuit. And part of his claim is that they changed the structure to a for-profit arm. But OpenAI's attorneys say it's still run by a nonprofit foundation board. So they're saying that Elon Musk's case is invalid. That's not what's happening. and that Musk waited to file the suit until he founded his own competing artificial intelligence company, xAI. xAI is a company that's very similar to OpenAI. OpenAI has ChatGPT. xAI has Grok. So that's the name of the artificial intelligence at xAI. So he waited to file the suit. Remember, suit represents lawsuit or case, the legal dispute. And remember, you file, which means you submit the paperwork to start. So you could say waited to start the legal dispute until he founded, in this case, started. This is terminology used in the business world to mean start. He founded his own competing artificial intelligence company, xAI. Competing is an important word because you could found a company that does something different and doesn't compete against OpenAI. You could also say that isn't a competitor of OpenAI. So competitor is the noun, compete is the verb. In this sentence structure, competing is an adjective until he founded his own artificial intelligence company. So his own company, this is the noun. Competing gives you information about the company. Same with artificial intelligence. It gives you more information about the company. Compare this to my example sentence. xAI competes against OpenAI. So compete is the verb. You have to conjugate it, third person singular. The preposition you use is against. Now, you could also use the noun form, which is a competitor. But notice it's xAI is, so to be, a competitor, because it's a noun, you need the article, a competitor of. The preposition is of OpenAI. So 3 different uses of the same word. The jury agreed, finding that Musk was aware of the behavior discussed in the lawsuit as early as 2021. So 2021 is the starting time, but it could also be after that. So as early as means it could be 2022, 2023, but 2021 is the starting time. So Musk was aware of the behavior discussed in the lawsuit. As far as we know, because I have the same information as you, the behavior is that OpenAI changed its structure and started a for-profit arm of the company. So that's the behavior that we know that was discussed. Musk asked the court to force OpenAI to pay back more than $130 billion to OpenAI's nonprofit arm. But we're not done yet because we have a comma, which means Musk asked the court to do other things. So the first thing is what I just read. Now also remove Altman and Brockman from their leadership roles. And this is the final point. Because if this wasn't the final point, then we would have another comma. And unwind the corporate restructuring that turned OpenAI into one of the world's most valuable tech companies. First, let's review payback. Payback means return money owed. This is not the same as simply pay. Pay is there's a service or a product for a fee and you give the money. But pay back, it sounds like money was given to you or you received some sort of money temporarily. That was never your money permanently. So you have to return that money. So for example, I might say, oh, I need to pay Kara back. So this is separable. You can say, I need to pay back Kara. I need to pay Kara back. So maybe I went out for dinner with my friend Kara. I forgot my wallet at home. So Kara paid for my dinner. Now I need to return that money to Kara. Technically, I didn't receive additional money, but I should have lost money, but I didn't. So I'm still positive compared to what I should be. So I need to pay back Kara. I need to pay Kara back. Now, let's also look at unwind, because you might know this in more of a, unwind, relax. You might say it was a busy day, so I unwound by watching a comedy. So this is the irregular past. A massage will help you unwind. Don't you think? A massage will help you relax. A massage will help you unwind. In this context, though, unwind means to reverse a process or change. So corporate restructuring means they had a structure. So they had a nonprofit arm, but then they restructured. They structured again and created a for-profit arm. Musk feels that was incorrect, and they should unwind that structural change and so reverse the process, which means go back to their previous structure, which was the nonprofit arm. So that is what Musk asked the court to do, these three specific things. However, remember, Musk lost. Musk lost against OpenAI. So let's keep reading. Musk's lead attorney, Mark Toberoff, said at a press conference after the verdict, the official decision, after the verdict, that they plan to appeal. This is not new information to us because remember, the header, Musk vows to appeal. So the header having Musk vows to appeal is way stronger language than saying they plan to appeal. Because I plan to study tonight. Does that mean you're going to study even if you plan to do it? Not necessarily. I vow to study tonight. Well, that sounds a lot stronger. And that's the end of the article. So what I'll do now is I'll read the article from start to finish and you can focus on my pronunciation. Musk loses case against OpenAI but vows to appeal. Elon Musk waited too long to sue OpenAI and its leaders, a jury in Oakland, California decided on Monday. A lawsuit he filed was barred by the statute of limitations, the jury found after about 90 minutes of deliberation. Their verdict was advisory, but Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers said she agrees with the jury. Musk helped co-found and fund OpenAI, giving $38 million in its early years. He sued CEO Sam Altman, company president Greg Brockman, and OpenAI in February 2024, alleging that they stole a charity and unjustly enriched themselves when they shifted to a structure that includes a for-profit arm. I was a fool, Musk told the court earlier this month. I gave them free funding to create a startup. Musk's case threatened to derail the ChatGPT maker as it plans what could be a blockbuster IPO. OpenAI's attorneys argued the company's mission hasn't changed, that it's still run by a nonprofit foundation board, and that Musk waited to file the suit until he founded his own competing artificial intelligence company, xAI. The jury agreed, finding that Musk was aware of the behavior discussed in the lawsuit as early as 2021. Musk asked the court to force OpenAI to pay back more than $130 billion to OpenAI's nonprofit arm, remove Altman and Brockman from their leadership roles, and unwind the corporate restructuring that turned OpenAI into one of the world's most valuable tech companies. Musk's lead attorney, Mark Toberoff, said at a press conference after the verdict that they plan to appeal. Amazing job. Do you want to keep learning English with the news? If you do, put yes, 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 put yes, yes, yes in the comments below. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And here's another lesson I know you'll love. Watch it now.